আমার কথা শোনা যাইতেছিল।
হ্যাঁ, আপনার এটা আমি দেখছি, বুঝছেন? আপনি দেখার পর কেন যেন এটা অল অফ এ সাডেন রেকর্ড বন্ধ হয়ে গেছে। মানে আমার যে র ভিডিওটা আছে ওটাতেই নাই
জি।
কথাটা।
ও। ও
আমার
আচ্ছা।
আমার ওই ভিডিওটা কিন্তু আপনার একটু প্রসেস করতে হয়, রেন্ডারিং বলে আর কি, একটু প্রসেস করতে হয় তারপরে আপলোড করি। তো এই প্রসেস যখন করলাম
ওকে।
দেখলাম যে নাই এটা। পরে আমি মনে করছি যে এটা মনে হয় কোনো মানে মিস্টেক হয়েছে। পরে আমি র ভিডিওতে চেক করে দেখি যে কি অবস্থা। তো অসুবিধা নাই, আমি আপনার ওইটা ইয়া করবো না। আপনার ওইটা আবার রিভিউ করবো না আপনার সাথে, যে জিনিসগুলো আর কি অসুবিধা, বুঝছেন? ওইটা অসুবিধা হবে না। আমি আপনার আজকে এই যে জিনিসগুলো একটু বাকি আছে আমাদের এসডিএলসির, ইনশাল্লাহ কালকের মধ্যে বাকি সব শেষ হয়ে যাবে আর কি এসডিএলসিটা। তারপরে নেক্সট উইক থেকে আমরা নতুন একটা জিনিস ধরবো, কিউসি। তো কিউসির জন্য আপনাকে আমি একটা ইমেল পাঠাইছি, দেখবেন ওটার মধ্যে কিভাবে কিউসি তে লগ ইন করবেন ওই ইনফরমেশনটা দেয়া আছে।
ওকে।
আপনি করবেন কি, আজকে ক্লাসের পরে মানে রাত্রে whenever you have time আপনি একটু ট্রাই করবেন লগ ইন করতে পারেন কিনা। যদি হয় ইজ ফাইন, যদি না হয় কালকে আমরা ক্লাসে এই জিনিসটা দেখবো, বুঝছেন?
ওকে।
কারণ ওই জিনিসটা করবো আমরা নেক্সট উইক থেকে। তো বেসিক্যালি আপনার এই সপ্তাহের মধ্যে আজকে আমরা যে বাকি যে জিনিসগুলো আছে সেগুলো শেষ হয়ে যাবে। আপনি কালকে আমরা এটা রিভিউ করব পুরাটা। আপনি এর মাঝখানে আজকে একটু রিভিউ করবেন, যেসব প্রশ্ন থাকে আমরা এগুলা কালকে রিভিউ করব, গোয়িং থ্রু এভরিথিং। তারপরে কিছু ইন্টারভিউ কোশ্চেন কিছু আলোচনা করব। বেসিক্যালি উই র‍্যাপ আপ এসডিএলসি বাই টুমরো, বুঝছেন?
ওকে।
তো নেক্সট উইক আপনি আমার কাছে একটা ইন্টারভিউ দিবেন এই এসডিএলসি এর উপর। স্যাম্পল কোশ্চেন আছে, তারপরে যেগুলা করাইছি সোফার এভরিথিং, হোয়াটএভার উই ডিড অন এসডিএলসি এভরিথিং, নেক্সট উইক উই উইল হ্যাভ এন ইন্টারভিউ। ঠিক আছে?
হুম।
ওকে। ওকে, আজকে তাহলে আমরা এই যে কিছু একটা ইয়ে আছে, ডেফিনেশন কিছু বাকি আছে। ডেফিনেশন মানে হলো আপনার এই জিনিসটা হলো ডেফিনেশন, কোন স্পেসিফিক কোন টার্মিনোলজি না এসডিএলসি। এটা বিভিন্ন ওয়ার্ড যেটা আপনার কাজের ক্ষেত্রে ব্যবহার করা হয়, আমরা ওটার সাথে পরিচিত হওয়ার কিছুই না। উই নিড টু নো হোয়াটস দ্যাট মিন। মনে করেন ম্যানেজার আপনাকে জিজ্ঞেস করলো, ওই ক্যান ইউ ক্রিয়েট প্লিজ দ্য মিটিং মিনিট, হোয়াট ইজ মিটিং মিনিট? তারপরে বললো ক্যান ইউ জয়েন দ্য কিক অফ মিটিং। তারপরে আপনার বললো হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ইটিএ। তাহলে এরকম কিছু আপনার বলে না, ইফ ইউ ডোন্ট নো হোয়াট ইজ ইটিএ, হোয়াট ইজ কিক অফ, থিংস লাইক দ্যাট, দ্যাট ইজ লিটল এম্বারেসিং। So we need to know what those things means. Okay. Some basically we will discuss today some common word that at work you will be always encountered to. Always. Those are the wording that you will hear from somebody always. So we just need to know what that mean. Some maybe at work they might tell you what is the priority of this test case. So if you don't know what is priority means or severity means, then you cannot answer. So we need to know what those things means basically. That's it. So different wording. All we are going to talk about different wording that we use at work. That's it. Okay.
ওকে।
It's only few of them, so not too big. Let's see. আমি আপনাকে এই সমস্ত, হ্যাঁ বলেন।
ও জি না, আমি রিভিউ করতেছিলাম সবকিছু। আমার কয়েকটা কোয়েশ্চেন ছিল মামা।
ও সরি সরি, হ্যাঁ আপনি বলেন, আই ফরগট টু আস্ক ইউ। হ্যাঁ আপনি বলেন।
হ্যাঁ, তো ওই যে আপনার ডেইলি স্ক্রাম মিটিং, এটা কি দ্য ডে অফ দ্য স্প্রিন্ট রিভিউ, যখন কোনো কিছু আমরা শেষ করে আসলে আমাদের স্প্রিন্ট রিভিউ হোক, ওই দিনও কি ডেইলি স্ক্রাম মিটিং হয়, না ওই দিন কোনো স্ক্রাম মিটিং না, শুধু স্প্রিন্ট রিভিউ?
স্প্রিন্ট রিভিউ যেদিন হয় ওই দিন আর ডেইলি স্ক্রাম মিটিং হওয়ার দরকার হয় না। কারণ আপনার ওয়ান্স ইউ ফিনিশ ইট দেন ইউ ডু দ্য স্প্রিন্ট রিভিউ, আদারওয়াইজ ইউ ক্যানট ডু ইট, তাই না? সো সো এটা হয় না। আর একটা জিনিস মনে রাখবেন, এই যে সিস্টেমটা, এই যে প্রসেস গুলো আমরা শিখি বা জানি, কাজের ক্ষেত্রে কিন্তু 100% ওরকম ইউজ হয় না। নট 100%। মানে কি, মনে করেন আমাদের ডেইলি স্ক্রাম মিটিং এর কথা বললেন, আমাদের ডেইলি স্ক্রাম মিটিং কি হয়, এভরিডে হয় সকালবেলা, রাইট? 9টা 10টার দিকে 15-20 মিনিটের জন্য হয়, তাই না? দ্যাটস দ্য স্ট্যান্ডার্ড, কিন্তু দ্যাটস দ্য স্ট্যান্ডার্ড। কিন্তু রিয়েল লাইফে মনে করেন এই যে আমি গত একটা প্রজেক্টে কাজ করলাম, এটা ছিল সেম অ্যাজাইল স্প্রিন্ট ছিল, কিন্তু আমাদের ডেইলি হইতো না, আমাদের হয়তো সপ্তাহে 2 দিন, কখনো 3 দিন, 3 দিন স্কেজুয়াল ছিল, কখনো 2 দিন হইতো থার্ড মিটিং, কখনো এরা ক্যান্সেল করতো। জিনিসটা বুঝছেন? ইজ এ স্ট্যান্ডার্ড ইজ টু ডু ইট every day for 10-15 minutes. That's the standard. Most of the places does it, but a lot of places also does not do it because it's not necessary. এই যে এখন একটা প্রজেক্টে কাজ, দুটা প্রজেক্টে কাজ করতেছে, as a matter of fact, একটা প্রজেক্টে হচ্ছে 5 দিনই, আর একটা প্রজেক্টে 2 দিন হয়, 1 দিন হয়, 3 দিন হয়। So daily scrum meeting. So it's like based on your need. কথাটা বুঝছেন? Based on your need. আবার কোন আপনি স্প্রিন্ট পাবেন সপ্তাহে 1 দিন হয়। This is also happens. আমাদের last প্রজেক্টে কাজ করতাম, I mean previous job, we had once a week meeting, scrum meeting. It should be 5 days, but it happened once. তো আপনার যদি ইন্টারভিউতে এরকম জিজ্ঞেস করে you have daily scrum, বলবেন yeah I have daily scrum, but also I work in a project that I don't have daily, I have like twice a week or 3 times a week. এটা মেনশন করবেন। That's the real life scenario. কথাটা বুঝছেন? রিয়েল লাইফে ইজ অল নট অলওয়েজ। এটা 100% মনে করেন আপনার আজকে দ্যার ইজ নাথিং টু, মনে করেন ডেইলি স্ক্রাম মিটিং মানে কি, উই এক্সপ্লেন এভরিবডি হোয়াট উই আর ডুইং, আওয়ার স্ট্যাটাস, রাইট? মনে করেন today we are explaining, now we know that tomorrow there will be no update, we know that for whatever the reason, let's say we know that there will be no update, somebody developer is on vacation, tester is on vacation also, so there will be no task done, let's say, for example. So that scrum master may cancel tomorrow's meeting. What's the purpose? No purpose, right? So it's not necessary, mandatory that he has to have every day. It happens, that is true, but based on the need basically. Okay, the reason I'm explaining all this is because in the interview, for the interview, if they ask you do you have daily scrum, আপনি বলবেন ইয়েস। তখন যদি জিজ্ঞেস করে লাইক ইট হ্যাপেন্স এভরি ডে অর ডু ইউ ক্যান্সেল অর থিংস লাইক দ্যাট, তখন যেন আপনি বুঝেন জিনিসটা, এক্সপ্লেন করতে পারেন যে ইয়েস আওয়ার স্কেজুয়াল ইজ এভরি ডে, বাট সামটাইমস দ্য মিটিং স্কেজুয়াল ইজ 3 times a week, 2 times a week, not every day. It happens also, it changes. ঠিক আছে মামি? ওকে, হ্যাঁ, আর কি প্রশ্ন?
রিলিজ ব্যাকলগ,
I'm sorry, what mami? বুঝি নাই।
I'm sorry, the release backlog, এটা কি সব সময় আমরা করি পার্ট বাই পার্ট, যখন একটা পার্ট ডান হয় সব সময় করা হয় রিলিজ ব্যাকলগ, না সব সময় ইয়ে করতে হয় না, ওই যে বোর্ডের মধ্যে I don't know, that was my question. রিলিজ ব্যাকলগ কি আমরা সব সময় করি পার্ট বাই পার্ট শেষ হওয়ার পরে?
না, রিলিজ ব্যাকলগটা আসলে এটা আমরা করি না, এটা করে প্রজেক্ট ম্যানেজাররা, প্রোডাক্ট ওনাররা, দে ডিসাইড লাইক ব্যাকলগ, রিলিজ ব্যাকলগ মানে হলো এই রিলিজে কি কি কাজ আমরা করব, তাই না? এই রিলিজে কি কি কাজ করব, ইটস নট ডেভেলপার জব অর টেস্টার জব, ইটস ডিসাইডেড বাই প্রোডাক্ট ওনার এন্ড বিজনেস ওনার, দে ডিসাইড, নট ইভেন স্ক্রাম মাস্টার। স্ক্রাম মাস্টার হ্যাজ নাথিং টু ডু উইথ দ্যাট। Scrum Master basically organize kore everybody's task, right? So once he got what we will be doing this release, then he divide those. But actually the tasks are decided by the business people, but the product owner, business analyst, those are the people, project manager, those they are the one who decided, not Scrum Master. Okay? Okay. What else?
বাউন্ডারি ভ্যালু অ্যানালাইসিস, এইটা আমরা ইয়ে করে শুধু ইকুইভ্যালেন্সটা বলছেন, বাট বাউন্ডারি ভ্যালু অ্যানালাইসিসটা বলেন নাই।
ওকে,
এই দুইটা কি সেম, বাউন্ডারি আর ইকুইভ্যালেন্স?
ওকে, না এখন দেখেন, প্রথম কথা হলো বাউন্ডারি ভ্যালু অ্যানালাইসিস আর ইকুইভ্যালেন্স পার্টিশনিং, এই জিনিসটা I never used it. Hopefully you will never be able to use it either. It's like ওয়ার্ডিং ওয়াইজ আপনাকে ইন্টারভিউতে কখনো জিজ্ঞেস করতে পারে, অথবা কাজের জায়গায় যদি কখনো শুনেন এই নামটা, যেন আপনি বুঝতে পারেন হোয়াট দে আর টকিং অ্যাবাউট। ওকে, is a process, never really used. So anyway, but that's the reason I put it in the interview. They must ask you in the some documents, you might read it, or at work somebody may talking about it so that you know. That's why you have in your like for you to know. That's the reason I really put it in there. But what it is, we need to know. We may not use it, but we need to know. So boundary value analysis and equivalence partitioning, both of them, why we use it. The purpose to use it actually, whenever we pick a number, how do I decide which number I have to pick? Let's say I'm testing a loan calculator like car loan or house loan, right? I'm testing, at my work right now, my job is to test a loan application. What kind of loan? It could be anything: car loan, personal loan, credit card loan, or house loan, any kinds of loan I'm testing. So to test it, if you realize, I have to put some number. What kind of number? I have to put how much money I'm taking, right? Let me show you an application so that you will understand. Um,
ইকুইভ্যালেন্সটা বুঝছি, বাউন্ডারিটা বুঝি
No,
নাই।
that's okay. Both are same, similar. I'll show you. See, this is a mortgage calculator, right? So I have to put what is the price of the home. Then I have to put how much money I'm taking. I have to put the interest rate. Now, and how long, how many years I'm taking it for. Start date, end date, right? I have to put all this number, right? I have to put all this number. Now, the number that I'm putting, it has to be reasonable number, right? Reasonable number. Let's say interest rate, house interest usually 2, 3, 4, 5, 10%, 15% probably. Now, if I put here interest rate 80%, does it make sense? No, right? It doesn't make any sense. So there's a loan amount, loan term, 30 years. If I put 200 years, it doesn't make any sense, right? So it's still reasonable. And the same way, so right? So now here home value, if I put here $200, it doesn't make any sense. Home value $200, right? You can do it from a calculator. Why do you need a application to find out how much loan interest you are paying? So it doesn't make any sense. So basically, whenever we want to put a number, we use this technique, equivalence partitioning. And what is the other one, Mami?
Boundary value analysis.
Yeah. So we need to know these two names, equivalence partitioning and boundary value analysis. So now, whenever we need to put some number, now see, home value could be, let's say, 10,000 to $10 million, $15 million, right? Let's say home value could be, and loan amount could be same thing. People could take 50,000 loan to 10 million loan, right? Now we cannot test it with every single number. Can we? No, it's not possible, right? Now then we have to put here, let's say 50,000, right? I put in 5,000 to 10 million. Now I have to put 5,000, and then 5,001, and then 5,002, and then 5,003. I have to go up to 10 million. Is it possible? Literally no, right? I cannot just put every single number. I cannot put. So I have to come up with a number that covers everything, that covers almost everything. I cannot put every single number, not possible. At the same time, I have to make sure that the application works for any number. I have to do both. So how that is possible? Then what I'm going to do is, let's say here, you can see my screen, right? Okay, let's say a home loan, I'm thinking 10,000 to 10 million. Okay, that's my range. Minimum is, let's say minimum is 10,000 and maximum is 10 million. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to break this thing, let's say 5 different points. I'm going to do 10,000 to 100,000, let's say. Okay, and then from 100,000 to let's say 500,000, and then 500,000 to 1 million, 1 million, and then 1 million to let's say 3 million, and then say 3 million to 5 million, and then 5 million to 7 million, and then 7 million to 7 million to 10 million. So see, this is my range basically, right? This is my lowest point, this is my upper point. So from this range, I just break it down different partition, just break it down. So from 100, so 10K to 100K, right? And then 100K to 500K, and then 500K to 1 million, 1 million to 3 million. I just break it down with different range of number. And then from this each number,
we pick any number.
what?
We pick any number from each
Yeah,
range.
from this block, I pick any number. Let's say I'm picking 60K from here. And from here, I'm picking, let's say 250K. And then from here, I'm picking 750K, right? From here, I'm picking 2 million. From here, I'm picking 3.5 million. Okay. From here, I'm picking 6.25 million. From here, I'm 8.1 million. Okay. So see now, why did I do this? Because now I'm covering with small number, I'm covering with big number, I'm covering with medium number. So I cover pretty much all type of numbers, small, medium, big, really big, right? So all type of number, I have a data set. I have a set for all type of number. If I do only say this number, then I don't know if it's work with small number or not. Or if I do this number and this number, then I don't know if it's work with medium number or not. So I have the range. This range, I break it down different, I can break it down 5 different, 10 different, 15 different, whatever I want. And then from each block, I'm just picking any random number. Any random number. This is one thing. Okay, this is equivalence partitioning. Let's say this block, you are dividing it like say 10 different block. From this 10 different block, you are picking any random number. This is equivalence partitioning. And then boundary value analysis. That means let's say this is one block, right? See, 10 to 100K, and then 100K to 500, 500 to this. So what I have to do here, I have to pick a number. Let's say here, I'm picking last number is 100K. I'm picking 100. Here, I'm picking last number is 500. This is the boundary. 1 million. I'm picking here 1 million. 1 million. 1 million. Here, I'm picking 3 million. This is the boundary here, right? This is the boundary. This is the range of number 1 million to 3 million. So what is the boundary? Starting 1 million to 3 million, right? So here I pick the upper two boundary. One is the lower boundary, one is the upper boundary, right? So from the first number, if I take the upper boundary 100K, then I'm taking upper boundary everywhere. 3 million. Here I'm going to take 5 million, right? Here I'm taking 7 million. And here I'm taking 10 million. Okay. So I take the upper boundary, and everywhere I'm taking the upper boundary as a number. This is the number I'm going to put at the home value. Okay. If I take lower boundary 10 here, then I'm going to take here everywhere lower boundary. So boundary value analysis meaning pick a number from the boundary. From the boundary, upper or lower doesn't matter. If you pick upper, then pick upper everywhere. If you pick lower, then pick lower everywhere. That's called boundary value analysis. And equivalence partitioning meaning, okay, whenever you do boundary value analysis, you have to also partition equally, right? You have to partition equally anyway. Let's say you have to understand, like this is a, let's say this is like a number line. Let's say this is a number line, right? So what I have to do, let's say I'm dividing it like this, 4. That's all I'm doing. See, I'm dividing it equally, right? I'm dividing it equally. See, that's called, this is one block, this is another block, right? This is another block. All this is a separate block. So this is the whole number set I have, right? beginning to end, and I'm dividing it equally. And from each block, I'm just picking any number. That's called equivalence partition. Any number I'm picking from each block. And if I pick, like say, last number from each block, or first number from each block is called boundary value analysis. Meaning you are picking a number from the boundary of each block, not from the middle or anywhere. Make sense? Okay. That's why it's like a technique to handle the number. Now people use it sometimes, people doesn't. It is very rarely actually used. It's a common sense that we use, just randomly put some number, that's all. But is a like professionally, this is the technique that we should use, but at work really people doesn't use it. It's a little bit, why going through all this hassle, but is a way to use it to it. But especially in the interview, they ask you if you need to pick a number, how do you chose you test data, then you mention, depending on the scenario, I use boundary value analysis or equivalence partitioning. This is what we do. Okay, that's all. Like whenever you use a large data set, like a range of data set, I mean, from let's say 1 million to 20 million, or from $10 to 1 million, then how do you pick, like you test data, basically. That's all. Make sense? Okay. You're gonna go through it again, of course. Tomorrow, whatever question you have, we're gonna talk everything. Any more question?
টেস্টারটা কি রিকোয়ারমেন্ট আবার লেখে না? রিকোয়ারমেন্ট বুক থেকে যে লেখা হয়, টেস্ট কেস লেখা হয় রিকোয়ারমেন্ট বুকের মধ্যে যেগুলা আছে। হোয়াটস দ্য ডিফারেন্স?
হ্যাঁ, টেস্ট
ডু উই রাইট রিকোয়ারমেন্ট अगेन?
হ্যাঁ, না আবার লেখে মানে কি, আপনি টেস্ট রিকোয়ারমেন্টের ডকুমেন্টটা বিজনেস অ্যানালিস্টরা বানায়, রাইট? দে আর দ্য ওয়ান হু ক্রিয়েট দ্য বুক, রাইট? রিকোয়ারমেন্ট ডকুমেন্ট। নাও টেস্টাররা করে কি, দে break it down piece by piece. That's all they do. They break it down. Suppose,
do we hold that when testers break it down, is just কি requirement ই বলা হয় না test case বলা হয়?
requirement ই বলা হয় এদেরকে। আমরা এই requirement বলেন, সরি,
ওকে,
না একে requirement ই বলা হয় আপনার।
তো requirement ডকুমেন্ট একটা আছে যেটাতে ভালো করে এক্সপ্লেন করা থাকে, আর চেস্টার্সরা আবার রিকোয়ারমেন্ট বানায় যেটাতে শুধু পিস বাই পিস মেইন পয়েন্ট গুলা লেখা হয়, কি কি দেখা হবে না হবে।
না, মেইন পয়েন্ট না, অল দ্য পয়েন্ট, ইউ ক্যানট মিস এনিথিং। কারণ কি, রিকোয়ারমেন্ট ডকুমেন্টে হয় কি, রিকোয়ারমেন্ট ডকুমেন্টে থাকে ডেসক্রিপটিভ ওয়ে। মানে কি, মনে করেন আপনার রিকোয়ারমেন্টে থাকলো লেখা, এরকম করে লেখা থাকলো, the user should be, before the user login there should be authentication, there should be an authentication option, এরকম করে একটা ওয়ার্ড লেখা, একটা লাইন লেখা থাকলো বা দুটো লাইন লেখা থাকলো রিকোয়ারমেন্ট ডকুমেন্টে, আপনার যেটা বিএ বানায়। তো আমাদেরকে করতে হবে কি, আমাদেরকে আপনার টু বি মোর স্পেসিফিক, আমাদেরকে বলতে হবে the user should be able to log in with valid ID and password। আমরা এটা লিখলাম, কথাটা বুঝছেন? এখন এটা আমাদের রিকোয়ারমেন্ট, এটা আমাদের লিখতে হবে একটা, মনে করেন এক্সেলে অথবা ওই যে একটা টুল আছে এএলএম, ওই টুলের মধ্যে আমাদেরকে লিখতে হবে। বেসিক্যালি আপনার ওই রিকোয়ারমেন্ট ডকুমেন্ট যেটা বিএ বানায় সেটা থাকে একটা বুকের মতো, লাইক ডেসক্রিপটিভ ওয়ে, এভরিথিং ইন লাইক ওয়ান আফটার অ্যানাদার, নট লাইক নাম্বার 1, নাম্বার 2, নাম্বার 3, নট লাইক দ্যাট। ওকে, নট লাইক দ্যাট। সো হোয়াট উই নিড টু ডু, উই নিড টু, like from that description, from that paragraph, we need to break it down piece by piece and number them 1, 2, 3, like this is the requirement number 1, this is the requirement number 2, things like that. Okay, so from that,
okay, to the point,
we have to write it, like basically to the point we have to write it piece by piece.
Okay, আমরাও এটাকে রিকোয়ারমেন্টই বলি, and then we write test case from the requirement that we create, from that requirement we write the test case,
right? এখন কেন লিখতে হয় জানেন? এটা আমাদেরকে লিখতে হয় কারণ প্রতিটা রিকোয়ারমেন্টের এগেইনস্টে প্রতিটা রিকোয়ারমেন্ট আমাদেরকে টেস্ট করতে হয়, এবং টেস্ট করার জন্য কিন্তু আমাদের টেস্ট কেস লিখতে হয়। যখন টেস্ট কেস লিখবো তখন টেস্ট কেস আবার টেস্ট করি আমরা, যখন টেস্ট করব তখন পাস করতে পারে ফেল করতে পারে। একটা টেস্ট কেস ফেল করলো তখন কিন্তু বিএ আমারে জিজ্ঞেস করবে না তোমার কোন টেস্ট কেস ফেল করছে, তোমার বলবে কোন রিকোয়ারমেন্ট ফেল করছে, হুইচ ওয়ান ইজ নট ওয়ার্কিং। জিনিসটা বুঝছেন? বিকজ রিকোয়ারমেন্টের উপর বেস করে আমরা টেস্ট কেস লিখি এবং টেস্ট কেসটা রান করি, আমরা রিকোয়ারমেন্ট রান করি না, টেস্ট কেস রান করি। টেস্ট কেসটা পাস করে অথবা ফেল করে। যখন ফেল করে তখন আমরা বলতে পারবো যে এই যে টেস্ট কেসটা ফেল করছে এটা এই রিকোয়ারমেন্ট কাজ করতেছে না। যেটা বুঝতে পারছেন, আমাদের রিকোয়ারমেন্ট লেখার কারণ হলো আমরা টেস্ট কেস যে লিখবো কিসের উপর লিখবো, উই নিড টু টেস্ট ইট, টেস্ট হোয়াট উই নিড টু টেস্ট, right? So test whatever we test is the requirement basically. Whatever we test is the requirement. So we need to first write the requirement, make sure we understand the requirement, make sure we have all the requirement that we need to have in the application. That's all. That's why we need to write.
Thank you, ma'am. I have a question. I have a question. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay. দেখেন এই যে ETA একটা ওয়ার্ড আছে, ইটিএ অথবা টিবিটি। ইটিএ মানে আমরা নরমালি কিন্তু বলি যে এস্টিমেটেড টাইম অফ অ্যারাইভাল, রাইট? মনে করেন কেউ ফ্লাই করে আসতেছে, হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ইটিএ, রাইট? কেউ ড্রাইভিং করে আসতেছে, হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ইটিএ? ইটিএ মানে এস্টিমেটেড টাইম অফ অ্যারাইভাল। সো আমাদের কাজের জায়গায় অনেক সময় ম্যানেজারে একটা কাজ দিল, বললো ক্যান ইউ ডু দিস, তারপরে বলে হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ইটিএ, হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ইটিএ? তাই ইটিএ মানে সে জানতে চায় একটা অ্যাপ্রক্সিমেটলি হাউ মেনি আওয়ার্স ইউ নিড টু ফিনিশ ইট। তো ম্যানেজার যদি আপনার একটা কাজ দিয়ে জিজ্ঞেস করে হোয়াট ইজ দ্য ইটিএ, সো দ্যাট ইউ নো হোয়াটস দ্যাট মিন, তার মানে সে জানতে চাচ্ছে আপনার এই কাজটা কমপ্লিট করতে কতক্ষণ লাগতে পারে, একটা অ্যাপ্রক্সিমেশন, নট 100%, ইট মাইট টেক লেস অর মোর লিটল বিট, বাট একটা আইডিয়া। ইজ গোনা টেক 2 hours or is going to take 3 weeks, like he wants to have an idea, that's all. So ETA means the task that they assign me to complete, how long is going to take, that's all. Okay. আবার আরেকটা আপনি অনেক সময় জিনিসটা দেখবেন মিটিং এর মধ্যে বা কোনো ডকুমেন্টের মধ্যে, মিটিং অথবা একটা ডকুমেন্ট পড়তেছেন, হঠাৎ করে লেখেন টিবিটি। টিবিটি মানে হলো টু বি ডিটারমাইন্ড, রাইট? মানে এখনো এটা জানেন না আপনি, দে উইল ফাইন্ড আউট এন্ড দেন দে উইল লেট আস নো, রাইট? Okay, so that's TBT means. Okay, sometimes they will tell you, okay, tomorrow we have a meeting at 9 o'clock, and then location is TBT. Oh, what is this TBT means? TBT means the location is not fixed yet because there is no room available. So once they find a room, they will let us know. Okay, so TBT means what is the location basically? I mean, not location. The information is not determined yet. This on the process. Okay, yeah, to be determined. Artifact is another thing. Word artifact. Artifact হলো আমরা যে সব একটা সফটওয়্যার ডেভেলপ করার জন্য আমাদের ডকুমেন্ট ক্রিয়েট করতে হয়, টেস্ট প্ল্যান লিখতে হয়, টেস্ট কেস লিখতে হয়, টেস্ট ডাটা লিখতে হয়, স্ক্রিপ্ট লিখতে হয়, উই ডু এ লট অফ রাইটিং, রাইট? ডকুমেন্টস ক্রিয়েট করি। সেম ডেভেলপাররাও দে ক্রিয়েট ডকুমেন্ট। সো আর্টিফ্যাক্ট মানে হলো হোয়াট এভার দ্য ডকুমেন্টস উই ক্রিয়েট আর কল আর্টিফ্যাক্ট। মনে করেন আমি টেস্ট করতেছি, এখন আমার কিছু ডকুমেন্ট ক্রিয়েট করব। সো হোয়াট এভার দ্য ডকুমেন্ট আই এম রাইটিং, whatever the document I'm creating to test it is called artifact. Okay, ম্যানেজার বলতে পারে, ও ক্যান ইউ পুট ইউর আর্টিফ্যাক্ট ইন দা শেয়ার পয়েন্ট। এখন যদি আপনি আর্টিফ্যাক্ট কি না জানেন তখন বলবেন হোয়াট ইজ দিস, তাই না? তো এই জন্য আর্টিফ্যাক্ট মানে হলো হোয়াট হি ইজ ট্রাইং টু আস্ক ইউ ইজ দ্য ডকুমেন্টস দ্যাট ইউ ক্রিয়েটেড, হোয়াট ইজ দিস, why did you put it, that's all. So artifact হলো the documents we are creating to test something. আর ডেভেলপারও সেম, ডেভেলপারদের আর্টিফ্যাক্ট আছে মানস টু ডেভেলপ সামথিং হোয়াট এভার দ্য ডকুমেন্টস হি ইজ ক্রিয়েটিং। সো আর্টিফ্যাক্ট বেসিক্যালি মনে করেন আপনি একটা টিমে কাজ করতেছেন, 4 জন টেস্টার আছে, দেয়ার 4 টেস্টার দেয়ার, রাইট? সো 4 টেস্টার। সো বেসিক্যালি this artifact means all these people, 4 people, they are creating some document, they are writing test cases, they are testing test cases, they have a test result, whatever they are doing. So they are putting this somewhere. So those documents are called artifact. Clear? Okay. এখন দেখেন বিল্ড মানে কি, সফটওয়্যার বিল্ড, এই জিনিসগুলো কিন্তু আমি ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট, আদারওয়াইজ আই ওয়াজ নট গোনা স্পেন্ড টাইম অন ইট। ইম্পর্টেন্ট কেন জানেন? অনেক সময় আপনি কাজ করবেন, নতুন কাজে গেলেন, যাওয়ার পরে তো নো ইউ উইল বি অ্যাক্ট লাইক এক্সপিরিয়েন্স, রাইট? ইটস নর্মাল। So if you don't know what this means, you will be in an embarrassing situation. This is very common thing at work. After like 1 month, 2 months, you will be very familiarized with this word. But initially, you need to know. If you don't know, like I said, it will be an embarrassing situation. That's why we need to know what this means. Whenever they talk about this, so that we know what they are talking about. That's the whole idea. They are talking about it. We just need to know what they are talking about. That's all. So software build. দেখেন আমরা কখন টেস্ট করি? যখন সামথিং ইজ রেডি টু টেস্ট, তাই না? ডেভেলপাররা একটা জিনিস তৈরি করবে, একটা ওয়েবসাইট মনে করেন, এই যে দিস ইজ a website, let's say this is a website. What we do here, we calculate mortgage loan, right? That's it. We click here, that give us the loan amount right here. So developer creating this one. এই যে দেখেন মামি, এখানে আমি ইন্টারেস্ট রেট 80% দিচ্ছি, এখানে কি আসে দেখছেন? Interest rate must be in the range of 0.1 to 50, because like I said, it doesn't make any sense, right? Just give me no warning. Yeah. So anyway, so this is a website. So developer create this one. Once he finish it, then he is going to tell me, okay, go and test it, right? Clear? Okay. So he is creating something. Once he finish, then he is going to tell me. So এখন চিন্তা করেন, ডেভেলপার বানাবে, আমাকে বলবে এটা টেস্ট করো। আমি টেস্ট করলাম, টেস্ট করে দেখলাম যে ভুল, সামথিং রং ইন দেয়ার। তখন আমি কি বলবো? যে এটা ভুল আছে, তাই না? মনে করেন এই যে এখানে যদি আমি মোর দেন 50% দেই, এই এরর মেসেজটা দেওয়ার কথা, রাইট? এই এরর মেসেজ দিচ্ছে না মনে করেন, সো ইটস রং, রাইট? So let's say whatever, I click and calculate, it's not showing anything, something wrong. So developer create this website and I tested it and I found few issue. Okay, so what I'm going to tell him, I'm going to send him back. I'm going to say, okay, this is the issue I found, fix it. He's fixing it, and then after fixes, he's sending me again, right? So I'm testing it, and then I found those issues are fixed, but I found something new issue. So I send it back, he fixed it again, then I test it again, and I found another issue. So going back and forth, right? Now if you realize, it's not like he's calling me saying, oh test it, oh test it. It doesn't work like that. There's a documents that he needs to create officially. Developer will tell you. It's not like one single phone call, oh here you go, test it. It doesn't work like that. So he's gonna create some documents and then put those, all the code in an environment. Remember QA environment, production environment, dev environment, right? We went through this, right? So he's working in dev environment. Once everything is finished, all his code, he copy those code in the QA environment, right? Copy those. So he put it in the QA, and then I'm testing it. So if he's failed something wrong, then I'm telling him to fix it. So he's fixing it where? Not in QA. He's fixing in dev. So he's fixing it. Fixing meaning what? The code that he has before, he's changing it, right? He's changing it. So he's changing it. Now, again, once he fixes it, he's going to copy all the code and copy and paste it to QA environment again. So every time he's copy paste. Now, every time he gave me this code, he put a number in there, version number. Let's say first time he gave me version 1, then version 2, version 3, version 4. Let's say after going like 6 times, it is correct now. So version 6 is correct. There is no issue. So this is called build 6. Whenever we are interchanging our code between the dev and QA, every time the developer send us code with fixes, is called build 1, build 2, build 3, build 4, or whatever, it's just increasing the number. Okay, so build means developer is giving the code, developer is putting the code to QA, and when they put it first time, we call it build 1. When they put it second time, we call it build 2. When they put third time, we call it build 3. Now after going back and forth, once everything is fixed, no problem, then we give it to the client. I said, okay, there after 6 time, build 6 is fine. So we give this to the client. So once we give it to the client, now is everything is fine. So we don't tell the client is build 6. We call them release 1. Because if we tell them bill 6, he's going to say, what do you mean bill 6? What is bill 5? What is bill 4? Right? He'll be confused. So we don't tell the client this. We tell them, okay, here you go, release 1, because that's the first time we're giving it to you. Next time, if I give you again 6 months from now, I'll tell you release 2. So then they can keep a track of it also. So build and release. Build meaning developer is finished the work, and from the dev, he is scoping the code to QA, and then we call it build 1. I'm testing it, testing is done, some issue found, so they are fixing it. So once the fixing is done, he's copy paste the code again to QA. So they are called build 2. And then we are testing it again since the beginning. We're testing it again. Everything is, let's say, fixed, but found some issue. We are telling him to fix it again. It's fixing it again. Once fixing is done, he's copy all the code again from dev to QA. It's called build 3. So build meaning whenever the developer is giving us the code to test, every time they give us the code, we put a number in there, build 1, build 2, build 3. And then once everything is testing is done, everything is fixed and finished, whenever we give this code to the client, instead of calling it build, we call it release. There's the difference. Same code. Make sense, Mami?
Yes.
Any question?
Release 1, release 2, release the I understand release. Release কি সব সময় এভাবে release 1, release 2, release 3 এভাবে হয় না, কোনো সময় এরকম হয় কমপ্লিটলি এটা বানাবো, অ্যাপ্লিকেশনটা বানানোর পরে আমরা শুধু ফাইনাল প্রোডাক্টটাই দিয়ে দিই?
Final product day. It happens also. We also give final product. It also just release 1, done, go. That's also happened. But we always put a release number. The reason is so that in future, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, if he come back and if he wants to update it, then we already have the release 1 code ready, and then we just modify it, and then we put release 2 now. Right? So that's
okay.
But also another thing happens sometimes the customer places. So some the customer wants like piece by piece, then we say release 1, release 2. But it happens in both ways.
Okay.
So make sense for me? Good. Okay. Any question?
Yeah.
Okay. So priority and severity. This is another term that we need to know good. So priority means what is the priority of it. Okay. Priority meaning how important it is. Priority meaning how important it is. Okay. And severity meaning how dangerous it is, how bad it is for the application. Two different things. Priority meaning what is the importance of it, right? Now severity is how bad it is. How bad it is for the application. Now it is, I'm saying how bad it is. So what do you mean it is, right? Let's say you find an issue. If you find an issue, you testing something, you testing this, and you find an issue. What is the issue? See, this is in the left side. You can see, right, Mami, in the left side, interest rate must be in the range, right? Now, if I put anything more than, let's say if I put 50%, right? Long term must be in the range of 1 to 50. Long term, see, this is the range. I put 50, right? So let's say this one. Now there is no error, right? So if I put 55, is giving me an error. Is giving me an error. I mean, showing me this, right? Is showing me this. Now let's say, for example, it is not showing. It is not showing. It is showing this now, right? For our argument, let's say it is not showing. So that's an issue, right? That's an issue. So I am going to tell the developer that that's an issue, right, Mami? Understand this?
Yes, the defect.
It's a defect. So I'm going to tell the developer, okay, that's an issue, fix it. So developer is going to ask me, what is the priority and severity? Okay, developer wants to know. Now, before even he asks me, I have to tell him what is the priority and severity of it. Whenever I find a defect, I have to tell the developer, okay, this is, excuse me, this is the defect I found. Now go and fix it. Right? This is what I'll tell developer. I'm not going to call him. I'm going to write in a document and then send it to him, explaining everything. Defect life cycle we study, right, Mami?
जी
Defect. So in the defect life cycle, whenever I tell the developer that, okay, this is a defect, please fix it. On that defect, on that document, I have to mention what is the priority of it, what is the severity of it. It's mandatory. I have to tell him. Now, what is the priority? Priority means how soon he need to fix it. He needs to fix it right away, or he can wait. So priority means how important it is. That's priority. Now, severity means how bad it is for the application. How bad it is. Now, if you realize that if I put this thing right, if I put this thing wrong, the application is working or not, that's the condition. Let's see if I put here 500 years, right? The application is not working. Look, it's not giving you anything. If I put 40, now the application, if I put 500, right? The application is working or not working. Hold on 1 second. Okay, give me 1 second. 5. See, if I put like correct number, the application is giving me something, right? It's working. Now, if I put here 500, just putting the wrong number, see, it's not working. It is not working. Application is not working, right? You see? So it is really bad. He needs to fix it right away, right? Correct, Pami?
রং নাম্বার দিলে অ্যাপ্লিকেশন যদি না কাজ করে দেন এটা কি স্টিল সিভিয়ার?
No.
এটা তো কাজ করার কথা না, তো কাজ করতেছে না।
No. That's what I'm saying. For the argument's sake, let's say this is not showing. It's supposed to show. Let's say it's not showing. This is what I'm saying. It's not working, right? If it does, that means something seriously wrong, right?
Yes.
It is not working, it's
If
fine.
it works after putting wrong number, then that means it's seriously wrong, right?
Yes, this is what I'm saying. Let's say for our argument, that's what I'm saying. It is right now, it is doing the right thing, right? It is doing the right thing.
Right.
But I'm saying it is doing the right thing here. It is showing that change it, right? But let's say it is not showing. It is not showing. It is giving you number. Okay, that means something seriously wrong, right? So now we have to tell the developer, okay, this is really bad. Application is not working. Application is not completely working. So that means you need to fix it right away. So our priority should be very high and severity should be very high too, because it's not working, right? Now, if it's working, like giving you probably a wrong number is different thing, but application is working. It's giving you wrong number, but application is working, meaning it's giving you something. So that's different scenario. One thing is application is completely not working. One thing is application is working, some part is working, some part is not working, or what is not working. Based on that, you tell the developer, okay, this is the priority, this is the severity of it. Okay, what I'm trying to say, priority means how important it is, how soon he need to fix it. How soon he need to fix it, that's the priority. Severity means how bad it is for the application, how bad it is, how effective it is for the application. There's the two different things. Okay, so let's say here, let's say it says mortgage calculator. Now he put the mortgage spelling wrong. Okay, now if the spelling is wrong, application will run fine, right? It's not, nothing will be effective. Let's say this is what I have right now. Let's say I'm doing the application, running the application, is giving me the right answer, everything is fine. Okay, everything is fine, giving me the right answer. But let's say this is wrong, the spelling. For our example, let's say MORTGE, there you put it, let's say. But if you realize this thing, application is running fine, so the severity is very low, right? Severity means how bad it is for the application to run. Severity means how bad it is for the application to run. Is it stopping the application? Can you run the application or no? Right? There's severity. Like let's say you're driving a car, but something happened with the car, the AC. Let's say you can drive the car, but if you turn on the AC, engine shut down. Let's say we have a really old car, you can drive the car, but without the AC. Right? Now, so here, if you realize what is the problem here, one thing is you can drive, there is a way, just shut down the AC, you will be fine. You can drive the car. But another thing is you cannot even start the car, right? So you have to understand like how bad it is for the application to run. How bad it is for the application to run, that's called severity. Okay, how bad it is for the application to run. Are you able to run the application, or application is breaking down, application is just blank out or shut down, that's severity. Okay, that's bad. Like we sometimes we call this weather is severe, like bad, really bad, right? So bad, severe means how bad the application is, how bad the problem is for the application, that's severe. So whenever you have an issue that that the application you cannot run, let's say, that's the severity is really bad. But let's say you can run the application, some way you can manage, so severity is low. And then see, if what I was saying, like the mortgage calculator, the spelling is wrong. If the spelling is wrong, nothing happened with the application. Application is still running. Let's say I don't even have it here. Let's say the mortgage calculator, I don't see it. Let's say I don't see it. But what's wrong with that? The application I still can run, right? Application is running fine, nothing wrong with that, right? So what would be the severity here? I don't have this. Let's say I don't have
Low.
the severity would be, how much the severity would be?
Low.
Severity would be very low because nothing wrong with the application, right? Application is running. But if you realize the priority would be very high. If we have this, let's say we have this CNN, right? Now here we have CNN.com, right? Anytime you open a news nowadays, it's all about Trump, right? So let's say here what we have CNN, right? Now for some reason, if you see CN, you don't have C double N, you just see C one single N. That's wrong in the title, right? In the name. So the severity would be very low because it's not stopping the application. It's not stopping the application, right? But the priority would be very, very high because it's a brand name news channel. Their name is wrong. People could sue you, or things can happen. Like it's very prestigious thing. Your name is wrong. So the priority is be very high to fix it right away, right? Do you understand the difference? Like say CNN.com, the spelling is wrong. The main thing is wrong. People is going to laugh at you. You are such a big company. How could this happen, right? So you need to fix it right away. So the priority is very high, but severity is very low. Do you understand this concept? I mean, it's a very important concept though, because whenever you assign a defect, this is the two things you need to always do. Two things always have to do. So you have to understand what is the priority and what's the severity.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I give you here some example. If you see here, I have some example. If you read this, it will help you understand much better. Okay. I don't want to go through this simple example. I mean, once you understand it, this example will make sense to you. But we're going to talk tomorrow anyway. So if you can have time to go through, we can talk. Okay. So data masking and data scrambling. This is another word. The project manager or BA might tell you, okay, we are going to send you some, data, data with scramble, or we're going to do some data masking. We are going to do some data masking. We are going to do some data scrambling. So what does that mean actually? Data masking or data scrambling basically means to change the data without changing the format. Okay, to change the data without changing the format. Now, why that happened? Let's say you are testing some credit card application, if the credit card work or not, credit card machine. So how are you going to test it? to test it, you have to charge money and things like that with a real credit card number. Now, are you going to give your credit card number? No. You don't want anybody to see your credit card number. Or let's say you are testing some credit application, credit bureau application, like what do you have that? We know the credit score. Now, to make sure that those are working, you have to put real information. Otherwise, the credit bureau will not give you right credit score, right? So, but who's going to give you the social security number? Nobody is going to share their social security number, their home address, their date of birth. Nobody's going to do it. So, what they're going to do with the real social security number? Let's say this is my social security number. Let's say, right? That's my real social security. Now, data masking means we're going to change it like this. You're going to change it like this. Okay, you're going to change this like this, like you are changing the number but with the real format. See, you have 3, 2, 4 digits, so you are putting like this. Or this is one thing. Okay, you are changing the data but not changing the format. Format meaning, like say, let's say date format. I have this. Let's say I have January 12. This is what I have, right? So if I do this like XYZ, and then I have 1 and then I have this is. So I'm changing, basically, if you realize, I'm changing the character, but not the format. Format, I have 3 character, I have double digit, and then I have 4 number, right? So I'm changing actually the data, but without changing the format. This is one thing. It's called data masking or data scrambling. Okay, but another thing is also, if you realize, we have, let's say, this is my social security number, right? Now I want to know my credit score. So I have to send my real information to credit company. Now nobody's going to give me any credit card to test. I mean, any social security number to test. So the credit bureau will give you some data. I mean, let's say you are calling, Messi for a credit card. You are calling them, okay, I want a credit card. They'll ask you all this information, and then they will send it to the credit bureau. If your credit client is good, they will give you the credit card. Done. Now that application that I'm talking about right now, they are putting your information to that application. Now, before they start working on it, they test it. So how they test it? Whenever they put your information in the application, is giving you the right number, the credit score, right? You have to test it. How you test it without the right information? So you have to put the real information. Now nobody's going to give you the real information. So what they do, there is a software. It's called encoding and decoding. It's called encoding and decoding. That actually means it. If this is your real, let's say this is my real social security number, right? This is my real social security number. Now I can do this. Let's say if you realize this completely different than this, right? Completely. This is my social security number, but this is completely different. Nobody will know what that really means. Nobody will know. Nobody can know what's that. This thing means this thing. So what will happen is only the credit bureau will know what that means. Only the credit bureau. If you credit bureau is giving you this, where they get it from? They get it from this. They have a software. That if you put a real social security number, they have a software where you put a real information. They give you number like this, character like this. They are like changing it on their way. Now nobody knows what that means. Now if you call the credit card company, if you tell them SYZEEREAS, they will know, oh, okay, this means this. That's called data masking or scrambling. Data masking means changing the data basically, so that nobody knows what that means. You are changing the data in a way that nobody knows what it means except the person give you, except the company give you. That's called data masking. Okay, data masking or data scrambling. Make sense, mommy?
Yes.
We use this kind of thing sometimes if you work in a like sensitive information like bank account or things like that. You will be always using this data masking thing. Like one time I work in New York City children administration. Now they had real information like real people home address, real people name, social security number, date of birth, all those things. So what they did, they used to give us, change the data in a way that we don't know what that mean. We don't know what that mean, but this is the meaning inside of it. That's called data masking basically. Data masking basically, if you know mask, right, covering it up, putting a mask, right? So data masking basically means changing the data, but not changing the format. Real information stays behind the scene. We don't see. And then mockup. Mockup means like a real thing, real information, like creating something that's similar to real. Creating something that's similar to real. Let's say I'm creating a Visa credit card number. Visa credit card number is 16 digit, right? 16 digit. Like I said, this is 16 digit, right? 16 digit. Okay. So now I'm creating a number similar to this. Similar to this. That's called mockup. Mockup meaning, mockup really means is it similar to real? Similar to real. Okay. Mockup means you are creating on your own, but it is similar to real. Make sense, mommy? Mockup data. If the manager sometimes may ask you, can you create some mockup data? Can you create some mockup data? So mockup data means whatever the real data is to create something similar. Let's say my AT&T Time Warner cable bill is like this. Really big, right? Like this. So I'm testing. So I have to create some similar data like this. Like so I have to find out how many digit I have here, and then hyphen, then how many character I have here, then hyphen, then how many character I have here, then hyphen, then 2 digit. So I have to create similar number like this. Like total number should be same, and there should be 1, 2, 3, 4 block. So creating a number similar to real number, creating a number similar to real number, or creating a data similar to real data is called mockup data. Okay. Those things, mommy, sounds complicated.
Data masking এ তো আমরা format same রাইখা same format ছিল but different data output করছি. Isn't it pretty much the same data masking or mockup?
Pretty much the same. That is correct. But the difference is here in mockup meaning you just creating any number. Like with the real, similar to real, but any number. Similar to real, but any number. But data masking or scrambling means real number. Actually, what I'm saying is, let's say I have a credit card number like this. This is my real credit card number. This is my real credit card number. Okay, real credit card. So here, what I'm doing, this is my real credit card number. Let's say I actually have it. Okay. Now I'm not showing this to anybody. So for this one, I'm going to do this. Now, this thing, if you tell the credit card company, they will know. If you call the credit card company, if you tell them, okay, this is my credit card number, can you give me a data masking credit card number? They're going to give you an alternate number like this. Now, if you call them and give this number, they can refer back to this number. They know, okay, I know what that means. This means this. So data masking or scrambling means real information, but you are changing it. And the mockup data means is looks like real, but it's not real. It's similar to real. It's similar to real. Like you come up, let's say you are filling out an application form. You're filling out an application form and you are putting like in the form, in the name, you are putting last name, first name, things like that. So in the last name, I'm putting this. In the first name, I'm putting this. I'm putting this. And then email address, I'm just writing this. Okay. So if you realize this is similar to real, similar, right? Looks like I have something and then @ sign, then I have company name and then .com. right? This is like all letter. If I put this 5, this is wrong because name cannot be a number, right? So I'm putting some character. I'm putting some character, and then this is. So this is called mock-up data. You are creating a real data similar to real data. But data masking or scrambling means you actually putting the real data, but you just don't know what behind the scene it means. The manager will give it to you. Manager got it from the company. They're changing it. You don't know what's really that means. But actually it has a behind the scene, it is real information. Let's say manager may be giving them my social security number, but they just don't know it is my social security number. That's all. So data masking and scrambling meaning real data you are changing it. And mock-up data means you are making on your own. You are coming with your own number. That's it. Make sense? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So action item. Action item meaning is, we have a meeting. Always you're going to have a meeting. After the meeting, you will see the Scrum Master or project manager is going to send an email to everybody, and they're going to put action item, and they're going to list something. A list of things. The action item means the things we need to do. Let's say for myself, the Scrum Master maybe say for Mohammed, create the test plan. So my action item is creating the test plan. What does that mean? I have to do it. Action item meaning what we have to do for each person. That's it. Action item meaning the task that we need to complete for individual person. I have to do 2 things, you have to do 3 things, developer has to do one thing. Those are the meaning task list. Action item meaning task list for each person. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Verification and validation. What does that mean? Verification and validation. Verification meaning we need to do something. So I'm going to make a list. What do I need to do? Let's say Sunday is my day off. I'm going to do laundry. I'm going to do grocery. I'm going to go see a doctor. Those are the things I'm going to do. So I'm creating a list of the things that I need to do. Those called verification. Validation means actually do the thing. Actually, there's the process. One thing is the planning, listing that I need to do. Another thing is actually do it. So verification in the morning when I wake up, I'm just creating a list. That's verification. And then after that, I refresh myself and then I'm going out. I actually go to the laundry and doing it. I go to the grocery and buying grocery. So those got validation. There's a very good question for the interview also. They ask you sometimes, what is the verification and validation? So verification and validation is a process where first step is to make a list what you need to do. Second thing, validation meaning like to actually do it is the validation. Clear, Mami? Okay. Now, few things that we'll talk later after we take this thing. We'll not talk now. Test positive. This is we have to do when you talk on this talk. I mean, this thing is that the thing that we are talking about is not complicated though. It's just new things. So always the first time will looks like a little bit complicated, but it's not. Once you do a little bit review, then it will be very easy for you. Okay. So user story. Remember the requirement we talk about requirement, same thing. Requirement and user story is the same thing. No difference. It's like whenever sometimes we get the requirement document that we talk about requirement document, and sometimes they don't write it the requirement document. They write it as a user story. User story meaning how the user will use that application. That's it. Requirement and user story actually no difference. The only difference is basically how the user will use the application. That's called user story. So the business analyst, instead of writing a requirement document, they're writing in as a user story. That's all. Test case, test condition, and test scenario. Test case meaning what? What we are testing, what we will be testing for each requirement. Now test scenario and test condition. Test scenario in a general term. Test condition is more specific. Meaning what? Let's say I have an application that I should be able to create, add country to it. I should be able to add user. I have a application and I am an admin there. So as an administrator, I should be able to use new user. Let's say, whenever they hire new employee, I'm a HR manager and I should be able to add this person to the company's list as a HR manager. Okay. So I'm writing as a test scenario could be the admin should be able to add new user. That's the test scenario. And test condition, if I specifically like name, okay, the admin should be able to add Muhammad Islam to this company. So I'm giving you the name who you want to add to. So test scenario is like a general idea. Test condition when you put the real information in there. That's the difference. One is the high level, like a general term I'm talking about. Like a HR manager should be able to new user. Okay, fine. That's test scenario. Test condition, I'm saying the HR manager should be able to Muhammad Islam to this project. That's the test condition. Okay. And test case is whatever we are testing is against the requirement. We already talked about the test case, right?
Yes.
Okay. Test case meaning whatever we are testing for each requirement. Okay. Test script and test case. There is actually no difference. Test case and test script. Actually no difference, but sometimes test script meaning whenever you do manually, whenever you test something manually, whenever you have a test case that you have to do manually, it's called test case. Whenever you have a test case that you have to do it automated way, it's called test script. So whenever you write automation script, it's called same test case. Same test case, you are doing it manually, or same test case, you are doing it automation way. So if you do automation way, it's called test script. If you do it manually, it's called test case. Now test procedure and test suite. Test procedure and test suite. So test procedure and test suite both are set of test cases, bunch of test case together. Test procedure and test suite both are same thing. They are bunch of test case together. Let's say I have a test suite and under the test suite I have 5 test case. Same thing. Let's say I have another test procedure. Under the test procedure I have 7 test case. Same thing. Test procedure and test suite, they are same. That means they are group of test case together and you're giving it a name. It's like a bucket. In one bucket you're putting, let's say you have a bucket and in that bucket you are putting 5 glasses. You have another bucket, you are putting 10 glasses. So it's like 2 different buckets. You're putting glasses in there. That's it. So test procedure and test suite meaning you have a group of test cases. That's all. Now the only difference is in a test procedure and test suite. See, the procedure is a combination of test cases on a certain logical reason, like executing an end-to-end scenario. The important part here is to that the order in which, this is the important point I just wanted to highlight. The order in which the test cases are to be run is fixed. Meaning in a test procedure, you have 5 test cases, right? So the way it is listed is latest like a, let's say number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So you have to first run number 1, finish number 1, then you have to go number 2, then you have to go number 3, then 4, then 5. You cannot run 3 and then 1, then 5. You cannot do that in a test procedure. But test suite, you can run in any order. You have 5 test cases. I want to run number 4, 5. Then I want to run number 3. Then 1, then 5. That's completely fine in test suite. But in a test procedure, the way the order it is listed, you have to maintain that. That's the only difference. The order, the way you are gonna execute the test case. That's the difference. Understand, Mami?
Yeah.
Okay. Requirement change. Now, requirement change means sometimes when you work, the requirement changes. Sometimes the requirement changes. Meaning, whatever the application is supposed to do is doing fine. Then all of a sudden the business came here saying, "Oh, I don't need that. Can you change it to that?" It happens sometimes. So that's requirement changes. You will hear that a lot at work. oh, the requirement will change. So what the requirement will change means? Requirement change meaning the way the application, all the requirement I have right now, they are making some changes. Let's say you're making a building with 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, and all of a sudden you say a 3 bedroom is fine, but I need 3 bathroom, not 2 bathroom, or I need 1 bathroom. So you are making some changes in the middle. Those are requirement changes. Application is, everybody is working, they are building and fine, but all of a sudden you want to do some changes. That's all requirement changes. Now configuration management, there's a team though. Configuration management team is a team. What they do? Now if you realize at work we have all the documents, tester is creating, business analyst is creating, developer is creating, everybody is creating documents. Now we have to put it somewhere in a safe place. We have to put it somewhere in a safe place, and some individual is responsible for it. So that's called configuration management, like where you putting all your document in a way that you can keep control of it. It will be safe there and nobody can delete it or anything, nobody can destroy it. Okay, that's all. Configuration management means you keep all your document in a safe place where everybody have access. At the same time, nobody can destroy it. Whenever there is a change, the old version stays there too. Okay, that's configuration management. Now version control, if you realize, again, whenever every time there is a modification in your code, like say you have a code right now is working fine, now 2 months from now you want to change something. So whenever you want to change, you don't want to write from scratch, you already have it. So from there you want to do some modification, but the old version that you have, you want to keep it also, right? So let's say this document I have, I want to save it. Let's say this document I want to save it. So here, what is the name? That's my old name, Sdlc complete. Now I'm putting it V2. So if I put it V2, see what happens. I'm putting it, not responding, something happened. So if I put B2, this thing is slow. So it's going to save it as a name B2, right? Sdlc complete B2. Now old version is there, right? See, let me see here. Old version is there. So that's called version control. So every time you change something, make sure the old version is there. Okay, that's the version control, nothing else. Okay, Mami? Understand this thing? Version control is marking whenever there is a change something in the application, you wanna make sure the old copy of the application is there, and you modifying every time there is a modification, there is a change in there. That's all the keyword that I wanted to talk, Mami. That's all pretty much it. A few things that I have to talk after when I go to test plan. I mean, not test plan, ALM, QC, and Jira. I talked about a little bit. Then otherwise, this thing you will not understand right now. I mean, I don't want to confuse you. This thing, Epic, sorry, that's related to Jira. There's another application I'll talk later. So that's all that I want to talk today. So any questions so far? Let's see. I covered pretty much everything in Sdlc. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to do only review on Sdlc, just a review, nothing new. Tomorrow we'll do 2 things: review on Sdlc, and we're going to set up the environment for your next class, the ALM that we'll do. That's the thing, and that's it. So any question on this one? Any confusion on any of it that we can review now?
But I'm going to review it, and then if I don't understand something, I will.
Okay.
If I have any questions, but I feel like I understood everything. But every time I review, then I have a question.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
আপনি বলছেন next week QC আর কালকে শুধু রিভিউ করব SDLC, তাই না?
কালকে আমরা SDLC রিভিউ করব from the beginning to end. Okay.
Okay.
Like, I mean, review meaning actually you're going to review and you're going to ask me whatever part you do not understand, so then I can explain.
Okay.
So review. If you have nothing, then I have nothing. Okay. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
defect life cycle review. Everything else I don't have questions.
Okay, one thing you wanna do tomorrow, I mean, if you need, like, so that you can have some time, extra time to study, you wanna do it later evening. Is it helpful?
না মামা, না জি না, ঠিক আছে, টাইম ঠিক আছে।
Okay, fine.
so far আমি পড়ছি অলরেডি, আমি রিভিউ করে ফেলছি আপনি যা যা করাইছেন। আপ টু আমি বলছিলাম যে রেকর্ডিংটা লস্ট হয়ে গেছে বা আসতেছিল না। তো কালকের জন্য আদার দেন টুডেজ ক্লাস আজকে আমি রিভিউ করবো। যদি কোনো কোয়েশ্চেন থাকে তাইলে আমার কোয়েশ্চেন থাকবে কালকে। আর নাইলে আপনি যদি ডিফেক্ট যেটা আমরা ইয়ে করছিলাম, ডিফেক্ট লাইফ সাইকেল, ওইটাতে রেকর্ডিং একেবারেই ছিল না, ওইটা রিভিউ করে ফেলি কালকে।
হ্যাঁ, whatever, tomorrow this is what I'm gonna do. Whatever question you have, you're gonna write it down, and then we're gonna go through one by one. I just wanna finish SDLC by tomorrow. That's my plan. So it takes half an hour is fine. If it takes 4 hours, I don't mind. Whatever time it takes tomorrow, anytime, 5 hours, 10 minutes, I don't care. Tomorrow I wanna wrap up the SDLC. I wanna call it a day. Like tomorrow we are done with SDLC. So don't worry about the timing. I have whole day tomorrow. So anytime, as long as it takes, you're gonna go through everything that you have question tomorrow. You're gonna ask me one by one, and I'm gonna go through one by one, and I'm gonna finish SDLC. Once we finish SDLC, then I'm gonna set up the login thing that I send you an email. Try this one. If it works, it's fine. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna go through with you to set up, and then next Saturday we're gonna start the new things.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem. So I'm gonna send. I recorded it is today also. Okay. So I'm gonna send it after rendering. I'll send it to you.
Okay, Mama. Thank you.
Okay. I mean, then that's it then.